We're good?
We're good, man. Here we go in 3, 2, 1.
Well, let me just introduce myself again. My name is Jeffery Davis. Today, I have the opportunity to serve as VERVE Community's campus pastor for Pomona. And I was asked just to kind of share a piece of my testimony. And I'll start here. This part of my testimony started actually in 2017. I was having a quiet moment in my room, and I just kind of felt like a slight tug on my heart that, God was calling me to pastor. And it was at the time in my personal life and just in my career where it's like that wasn't of the biggest interest in me, but it was most definitely something that I tucked in the back of my heart and my mind, because I remember reaching out to my father and saying, "Yo, Pops, I think that God is pulling me in this direction and just need you to pray about it, man." So, as time went along, I just kind of was just doing the basic things, working my daytime and, engaging in art and, just serving the Lord to the best of my abilities. Kind of had it tucked again, wasn't really considering it, but I just remember 2017 kind of being this place where my heart was was truly being tugged just to really hear and, see what God was saying. But actually, if you want to even go back a little more, I think 2016, I was introduced to the VERVE community, which was also recognized as Red Chapel at that time. And I got to meet now who is my pastor, Donnie Young, and his beautiful family. And I remember Pastor Donnie would look at me in the face and he's like, "We're going to do ministry together." And me being who I am, I'd be like, "Yo, like, all right," you know what I mean? Like, it was love, but it was like, all right, And but I remember me and him, we just developed like this really cool bond. Just every time I would see him, it will always be love. It'll always be love. And I was just like, man, like, I really respect this guy. And so when we fast forward to about March, what everybody recognized as the season of like COVID-19 happened, was my first week serving with the VERVE family, which was also still recognized as Red Chapel at that time. And if you want to go back to the times that we were doing our online services. I never forget the day. I believe it was a Saturday. And if you ever get to witness Pastor Donnie in his thought process, like, he'll start walking around and he'll get into like this really deep thought. And I remember him saying, like, I think that this might be the place where we birthed our second campus. And I never forget me saying like, "Yo, like, whatever, if God's calling you to do this, then like, man, you move forward." I had no idea in the back of his head that the thing that God put in my heart in 2017 would be in a way confirming that, like, man, like, I don't want to say I was confirming, but man, it was kind of like, it was in line to what God was already doing in the hearts of Pastor Donnie and Pastor Sonia. And so a lot of people have heard, the conversation and about the conversation, but I never forget, me and Pastor Donnie got on this call with Pastor Sonia and Megan being his scribe. And we were talking through the processes of Pomona. Again, me just serving in the capacity that I was serving in at that time. And I remember Pastor Donnie was like, "Hey, Jeff, like, what are your thoughts?" And I remember just saying like, "Hey, Pastor Donnie, like, I'm down for Pomona and, whatever I need to do. And like, if you would be open to maybe opening some different paths that maybe I can just be a part of the team full time, so that I could just focus and making sure that little small tasks." Now, we could laugh about it, but I think my mind, again, not thinking about 2017, was like, my mind was like, man, I'll do the small stuff around the church just to help stay afloat and just, just be a part so that Pomona can pop off. And I never forget him and Pastor Sonia stopping me on the phone, and they were like, "Jeff, like, we really want to talk to you about something." And they're saying, "Man, would you consider being the campus pastor?" And they affirmed me in that moment. So if you guys know me, you've heard the jokes. Yes, I do take my time in regards to how I make decisions. But I remember praying. But I think even before praying, I kind of knew that God was already shifting my heart to this direction because of what he had already, but I felt like he was already speaking into my life. So, man, I made the decision, prayed about it, made the decision. And, in July, man, truly made the decision that I'm going to serve this community in the capacity of campus pastor. And so that's like the short end of the stick. But if I could just say this, like the reason why I am for Pomona is because I believe that I am walking in the story that God has written out for me.